Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a classic, the Glock pistol. Whether you're considering getting one, already own one, or maybe thinking about upgrading, we're going to break down the key points to help you decide if it's the right fit for you. In this video, I'll cover both the strengths and the drawbacks of Glocks, why so many people swear by them, and why some choose to move on from them. Let's get into it. I talk about Glocks a lot on this channel because they're incredibly popular and for good reason. Let's not waste time. Glocks are solid firearms, and I've personally carried them for years. But like any pistol, they have their pros and cons. Whether it's Glocks, ARs, AKs, or whatever else, no gun is perfect. Usually, though, the benefits outweigh the negatives, and that's what we're going to explore today. With so many options out there, it's no longer about settling for something that's okay or just all right. The gun market has expanded, and while Glocks have long been a top choice, maybe they're not the ultimate pick anymore. So, let's kick things off with the pros and discuss all the reasons why Glocks are still highly regarded. First off, when it comes to what you get for the price, Glocks are pretty affordable. Now, I know prices have gone up a bit, and some features have been reduced, which we'll touch on later, but overall, for a semi-automatic, striker-fired pistol with a polymer frame, the $500 to $700 price range is quite reasonable. For example, in places like Iowa, you can get one for around $550, but in more expensive areas like California, you might see prices closer to $1,500, though I can't speak to the exact prices there. But on average, expect to pay around $600 for a Glock, which is a solid deal for a versatile, do-it-all firearm. Glock is known for offering great value. One of the biggest selling points is reliability. Glocks are renowned for being some of the most dependable pistols out there, perhaps one of the most reliable firearms in history. They've earned a strong reputation with law enforcement and military units around the world. Special ops have used Glocks for years, and even though they sometimes use their own firearms, Glocks are still the go-to choice in many instances. Not only is a Glock reliable under standard conditions, but it also excels in extreme environments. You could run 1,000, 1,500, or even 2,000 rounds through a Glock without cleaning it, and it would still function flawlessly, something that sets it apart from many other pistols. This makes Glocks particularly great for new gun owners because they don't require constant maintenance and are easy to use. No complex upkeep or intricate knowledge is needed, which is a huge plus for beginners. Additionally, Glocks are incredibly durable. They can withstand harsh conditions like mud, sand, and dirt, which is a major benefit. Sure, newer pistols like the M&P or PD have made strides, but Glock was the original when it came to ruggedness, and it continues to hold its ground. The proven reliability and durability are reassuring, especially for someone new to firearms who wants to go with a tried and true option. And let's not forget the influence of pop culture. Glocks are so iconic that you'll often hear people in movies and TV shows refer to any pistol as a Glock, even if it's not actually a Glock. That level of recognition just shows how deeply ingrained this gun is in public consciousness, further reinforcing its status as a top-tier choice. One of the major advantages Glock pioneered was creating pistols in different sizes with the same ergonomics, and often the same magazines. For example, you can get a Glock 34 with a 5.5-inch barrel or a Glock 17L with a 6-inch barrel, but both will accept magazines that also fit the Glock 19 compact model. This is a huge benefit because it allows you to use the same mags across different models, whether you're using a larger competition pistol, a home defense gun, or a carry pistol like the Glock 26. Essentially, you can have a whole lineup of Glocks that are all interchangeable, which is a real advantage for someone who wants multiple firearms within the same system. The newer Glock 47, released this year, is a great example of this versatility. The longer slides on models like the Glock 47 will actually fit onto the shorter frames of the 19X. Glock 48 and Glock 45. Not only can you swap slides and sights, but you can also use the same magazines, making it easy to have one cohesive setup. It's a great way to get the most out of one brand. Another example within the Glock lineup is the Glock 43, 43X, and 48. The Glock 43X, in particular, has become the most popular carry gun in the United States for a good reason. It has the classic Glock ergonomics but is much slimmer, making it ideal for concealed carry. With a 10-round capacity and a single stack magazine, it's a solid choice for everyday carry while maintaining the familiar feel of a Glock. Plus, you can still easily use your larger models like the Glock 43 for home defense or duty use. Now, it's worth noting that Glock isn't the only brand to offer this kind of versatility. Firearms like the PDP and M&P lines have followed suit. However, Glock was the first major brand to offer this level of compatibility, and they were definitely a trailblazer in that respect. One of the major benefits of Glock's widespread popularity is how many firearms accept their magazines. For instance, models like the MD-P9, JP5, and other pistol caliber carbines are compatible with Glock mags, meaning you can use the same 9mm mags across your Glock pistol, whether it's a 19, 34, or even in your rifle. This compatibility is fantastic because it allows you to stock up on a bunch of magazines for all your firearms, keeping things simple and convenient. And on top of that, these magazines are relatively affordable, typically ranging from $20 to $30, which is a great deal compared to most other firearm mags on the market. Another big advantage of Glocks is how beginner-friendly they are. Take the stock Glock 47, for example. It's a no-frills, straightforward gun. All you need to do is insert the magazine into the well, rack the slide, and you're ready to go. There's no manual safety or complicated mechanisms like a grip safety, and no additional features that could make it confusing for a new shooter. The controls are basic, with the slide lock or stop being the only thing to worry about. And even then, you don't really need to rely on it. You can just drop the mag, clear the chamber, and you're good to go. This simplicity makes it one of the easiest platforms to teach someone to shoot with, especially for first-time gun owners. The Glock striker-fired trigger, while not the absolute best when compared to some other models, is a perfect balance for beginners. With a pull weight of around 5.5 to 7 pounds, it's not too heavy to make shooting awkward, nor too light to be prone to negligent discharges. It's right in that sweet spot, making it an ideal training tool for new shooters, helping them learn control and accuracy without feeling overwhelmed. The Glock really gets it right in terms of usability for those just starting out. Another great feature of Glocks, although we can't show it on YouTube, is how easy they are to disassemble. You can break down a Glock in no time. Just pop out the pins, slide the slide off, and remove the barrel and recoil spring. That's it. You field stripped your gun, making cleaning and maintenance a breeze. Most of the time, you don't even need to completely disassemble it to oil it. Just apply a little cleaner lubricant protectant to the chamber and slide rails, and it's good to go. Of course, it's a good idea to disassemble and clean it fully every now and then. But even if you're at the range and running through a lot of ammo. You can just add some oil and keep shooting without any issues. Glock pistols are known for running well even when they're dry, which makes them stand out. While other high-end pistols, like a staccato, need more regular lubrication, Glock has become the go-to for people who want a no-fuss, use it and leave it type of firearm. Glocks also come in a variety of barrel lengths, ranging from the longer 17L to the compact 43, giving you options depending on your needs. Plus, there are several color options to choose from, like the flat dark earth on the 19X, or limited edition colors like olive drab and gray. While color doesn't affect performance, it's nice to have the ability to customize your pistol to your liking. Speaking of customization, Glock leads the pack when it comes to aftermarket options. They have the widest selection of holsters, magazines, sights, triggers, and virtually every other part you could want to upgrade. Whether you're looking for something as specific as a Punisher skull on the back of your grip, or you want to add slide serrations, the options are endless. If you want to add stippling, you can find tons of companies that specialize in that, or even do it yourself. There are also various grip sizes available through backstraps, and you can find extended magazine releases for an easier grip. When it comes to making your Glock truly your own, the possibilities are almost limitless. And while the P320 might have a slight edge in terms of modularity with its fire control unit, Glock has maintained a dominant position in customization options for years. This extensive range of choices is another reason why Glocks remain so popular. Now, let's dive into some of the downsides. First up, stronger competition. You probably knew this was coming if you've watched my channel before, but guns like the Walther PDP, for example, have taken the same basic form factor as the Glock and improved upon it in several key areas. This is just my opinion, but with options like the PDP, newer M and Ps, or Connects, you're getting better ergonomics, a superior trigger, and sometimes a smoother recoil impulse, all at roughly the same price. These brands have to work harder to gain recognition, so they tend to pack more features into their guns for the same price. While Glock has the luxury of leaning on its reputation, which often results in less innovation. Another example is the Czech Republic P10C or P10F. These pistols are generally priced lower and offer a better trigger, improved ergonomics, and a lighter recoil than the Glock. The issue is that many people aren't familiar with those brands, so they opt for the safer bet of a Glock. And this lack of innovation over the years is one of Glock's biggest drawbacks. If you look at the progression of Glocks from Gen 1 to Gen 5, they've basically maintained the same design with minimal improvements. This is why you're still dealing with the same old plastic white sights, which have been a common complaint for decades. They're not only fragile but also hard to use, especially at longer distances. The setup forces you to split the dot in half with the box, which leads to inaccuracies and the common issue of people shooting high or low. Additionally, the Glock has a very blocky feel, and its trigger is generally heavier compared to its competitors, which can cause issues with accuracy, especially when compared to firearms like the PDP, Staccato, or P10F. When you look at striker-fired guns from companies like Koenig and Walther, which I mention often, they offer excellent reliability and durability, just like the Glock, but they also feature a smoother trigger and a more ergonomic grip that helps you interface better with the firearm. So while the Glock is a solid option, these newer alternatives provide a more refined shooting experience for the same price or less. When I talk about the grip, what I mean is that while Glock has made some slight improvements over the years, the grip angle hasn't changed much. The angle on a Glock grip forces you to push your wrist over a bit more than usual, causing you to bury your hand deeper into the gun. This can work fine if you're used to it, and that's why seasoned Glock users, like Shane Cooley, can shoot them incredibly fast. But for someone who switches between different firearms often, like I do, this becomes a bit of an issue. For example, if you're transitioning between a 1911 and an M&P, both of which have a very similar grip angle, when you draw them, you immediately line up your sights and the gun feels right. But when you grab a Glock, the angle is so steep that the sights tend to appear high, and it's hard to get that perfect sight picture. This grip angle, which was once a key advantage, isn't as unique anymore. There are now firearms that allow for a higher grip without that awkward hump. And speaking of the hump, there's another issue: Glock knuckle. It's a well-known problem where the lower part of your hand gets irritated because of the narrow undercut and the aggressive angle of the grip. It's something that everyone with larger hands will experience when shooting a Glock. You'll often see people like me or other shooters take a Dremel tool to smooth out that area to make it more comfortable. But honestly, it would have been great if Glock had just made that small change in the first place. Even if it meant adding a few extra bucks to the price, it would have made the gun way more comfortable for a wider range of people. One of the main benefits of Glock being so easy to customize is also one of its biggest downsides. While it's great that parts are easily accessible and you can make modifications to enhance performance, it can also lead to issues. When you start customizing, you're likely to end up with something like this: faster and more streamlined, but ultimately less reliable than the stock Glock. That's the problem with modifying these guns. I've been tinkering with Glocks for over 10 years, and I still don't always get it right. The temptation to make small improvements, like installing a lighter trigger or reducing the spring weight, can cause problems down the line. You might get that extra tenth of a second in speed, but soon you'll start experiencing issues like light primer strikes, failure to feed, and even short strokes on the slide. It's all because of those well-intentioned aftermarket parts. In the end, the easier it is to customize a Glock, the more likely you are to turn your firearm into a paperweight. So while the customization options are great, it's important to be careful not to sacrifice reliability for minor performance gains. Another issue I want to bring up is the subpar optics mounting system that Glock uses. While Glock was one of the pioneers in offering a universal mounting system for optics, which is a nice touch, there's a downside to it. The plates that come with the gun are notorious for issues like bending and cracking. This is particularly concerning because these plates are your interface with the firearm, and any deformation can mess with your optics zero. I've seen videos where optics actually fly off the gun due to these plates or the screws failing. Though I personally haven't experienced this myself, Sage Dynamics and other reviewers have covered these problems extensively. To avoid these issues, you can opt for aftermarket plates, like agency arms, or have the slide milled at the factory. But the majority of Glocks now come with the modular optic system, which doesn't allow for easy milling. So, unless you're willing to invest in a higher quality adapter plate, you're stuck with the stock system, which doesn't hold up very well in the long run. Finally, while the takedown process of the Glock is quite simple, just pull down the levers, slide it back, and remove the slide. It's not necessarily the best system compared to other pistols like the SIG P320 or the M&P series. Those pistols allow you to force the takedown lever down even when there's sand, mud, or debris in the gun, which is a huge advantage. If you drop your gun in a pond or get it covered in dirt, you can still take it apart, clean it, and get it working again. With a Glock, however, dirt and debris often get trapped underneath the takedown levers, making it really difficult to disassemble the gun when needed. We've done torture tests on this before, and it's always been a challenge when the Glock gets exposed to sand. That's a major drawback if you're in an environment where reliability in tough conditions is crucial. Personally, I tend to lean towards something like the M&P for its more robust takedown system. It might seem a bit extreme, especially if you live in a place without much sand, but it's something to consider if you do. To wrap up, I'm not saying Glocks are perfect for everyone or that they aren't a solid choice. Many people carry them with great success, and Glocks have saved countless lives. The Glock 19, in particular, was a game changer for concealed carry with its combination of high capacity, reliability, and lightweight design. It helped pave the way for modern pistols like the M&P, PDP, and CZP-10. However, it's important to consider the innovations in newer pistols. The firearms industry has evolved, and other options may now be more suitable for your needs. The best way to find out is to visit a gun store, handle the firearms, and see which one feels right for you. If you're a Glock fan and have been carrying one for years, that's great, and I'd love to hear about it in the comments. For me, though, I feel that with the money, there are now better choices available. Whether those are right for you, though, is a personal decision. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.